Hi, my name is Spinal and I'm from a village just outside Cashel in County Tipperary. Um, I set up an Instagram page called Wheel Reviews in June just gone. So the reason I set up the Instagram page was because I'm a wheelchair user after being in a crash in 2011. So I'm a full-time wheelchair user, and I love traveling. I've been traveling around Ireland like all my life basically, but since becoming in the wheelchair, I used to find it really hard to get information on places whether they're accessible or not. So I've been to countless hotels where you'll ring ahead, you'll do all the things you're supposed to do, and then you'll get there on the night of your stay to find out that you can't get into the bathroom, like the steps into the bar, just things like that that are just ridiculous. And so I just decided to set up my page to kind of raise a bit of awareness and take the stress out of traveling for wheelchair users, other wheelchair users. So yeah, as I was saying there, I've been to loads of hotels where you'll ring and you'll ask them, and the only thing accessible about the whole thing will be that there's a ramp in the door. That'll be it. Like there'll be a bathtub in the thing, no gap underneath the sink, just really obvious things that you think would be, but because there's a ramp, they all think, oh, accessible, like that's fine. Or they could put a wheelchair room and have it in a big massive hotel down the very end of a carpeted corridor and really heavy doors in and out, like along the corridors, like just mad things that they think is accessible when it's not. So I set up the page, and just being in lockdown and being in Ireland, you kind of realised how good Ireland is, like to travel around if you had the proper information and stuff that you need. So I was traveling a bit during the summer and stuff, so I done reviews on places and just shared them onto the page about just different things I noticed. But so sorry, I'm getting a bit like worked up. But yeah, no. So if I can travel in a wheelchair, because I normally have someone with me now. To be honest, I never travel by myself. But if I can do it, like most of the wheelchair users can, because I'm not great at pushing and all that. So yeah, if I can get around the hotel and that, and in and out of the bed and stuff, fine. Most of the wheelchair users should be able. And I just wanted to take the stress out of traveling. So I normally book now through booking.com and stuff, but only recently they actually brought in a little option on the filters to put in facilities for disabled people. So that's actually handy. But what I realised is you could be going away for a night out in a random city in Ireland, and there'd be 100 hotels, and you put in facilities for disabled guests, and you would get it would lower it down to about 10, and then if they're actually accessible or just a ramp, is kind of pick and choose. So you kind of have to ring places ahead and that, and have it all worked out. And it does kind of take the fun out of traveling. Sometimes that's the one thing I actually don't like about traveling. I know it sounds crazy, is the booking it and stuff. I like looking at places, but just you're nearly fearful until you get there if the place is going to be accessible. So yeah, so the page hopefully now will just take a little bit of stress out. If you can see I've been to a place in like Galway or that, you'll know that that place is accessible if I've said it is. If it's not, I say don't go, like obviously you know not to go. But I've reviewed a few places on my thing. Like I reviewed one place up in Derry, a hotel I stayed in Derry, and it wasn't accessible. It was a joke. They said there was car parking at the hotel. When we got to the hotel, we had to park like a 5-minute walk down the road in a public car park. Now there was disabled parking in there, but we had 2 suitcases. I had to push down a really steep hill in Derry and stay in the hotel. So that's probably the best part of the stay. The room was a joke. There was a bathtub. The beds were really high. They were stuck together. Like it was a really bad room. And I reviewed it on my thing, and they got back to me, and the manager said basically that he knew it wasn't accessible, that he's been trying to get onto the people above him, and he just asked me tips and stuff. So it just kind of it just kind of like it made me feel a bit better that my page actually, like, had brought a bit of awareness. But since I've set up the page, I've actually had a lot of my friends and like people I'd be with all the time, like my brother even said to me, like, I shared stuff on my page about places that I'd been to, and that he would have never thought that it wasn't accessible until I had said it. So it just kind of goes to show, like, you don't really know until either you're in the wheelchair, or you know you're in the wheelchair, or like, sorry, I'm after getting brain freeze. Like, if you're on the wheelchair, unless you're helping someone in a wheelchair, you wouldn't really know, or unless someone teaches you and tells you about it. Like, so yeah, so like I was saying there, my brother even said it to me, like, you probably think that's mad. My brother wouldn't know, but he lives in Australia, so he wouldn't be with me traveling, so he wouldn't really know about like what I'd need and that. He'd probably be the same, think a ramp would be fine. But like, I have an uncle in a wheelchair, and he's in a wheelchair since young as well, basically the same as me. But I wouldn't have known anything about being in a wheelchair either before I was put in a wheelchair. So it just does kind of go to show. But I've had a lot of people say to me now that my Instagram page is actually opening their eyes to little things that they wouldn't have known. Like, there's a pub here, there's 3 pubs here in the village that I live in. None of them have disabled toilets or anything. And since setting up the page, a few people have just said things that they've noticed in the pubs and stuff about accessibility and that. So it's kind of good. Like, and people that I honestly didn't think would care whether or not the place is accessible have said it to me. But yeah, no, it's just kind of good to see that it's raising a bit of awareness. And I do actually kind of think that Ireland has actually got a slight bit better. I know it sounds crazy because sometimes you're like, for goodness sake, like, how's this okay? But I do think it's got a slight bit better at, like, accessibility wise. Like, compared to 10 years ago when I first started travelling places, it was ridiculous. But no, I do think now. And I noticed the other day, I actually went to book Dublin for a night over Christmas. And when I went on the facilities for disabled thing, I clicked that like I always do. And then the hotel I picked actually gave me an option of disabled rooms. Asked me, did I want one with a bath? Did I want one with a shower? And let me have a picture of the room and everything. I thought it was brilliant, actually. I must share it now to see, did anyone else see it, because I've never seen that before or anything. But I thought it was actually like really, really helpful. So I know 100%, well, not 100%, 90% when I go there, that's the room I'm going to get, and that's going to like work for me. So that's what kind of needs to happen, because it can be a real downfall when you go somewhere and the place isn't accessible. Like, you'd be looking so forward to a day out, and then just because, like, and you feel like just because you're in a wheelchair, that's why things have gone wrong. Because I don't know, that's I used to think anyway. I used to be like, if I wasn't in a wheelchair, like, I'd be able to get onto that boat fine, or whatever. So yeah, it's just like it can get stressful when things like don't go right. That's just why the Instagram page, I thought, would be a good idea to um to help people take the stress out of booking. But yeah, so I've done a few little like videos that I'm going to attach onto this, of just places that I've been to, just kind of, and I'm going to show you my Instagram page, just kind of give you an example of just different things that you can kind of expect to see there on my Instagram page, and just you can take them down and go if you want. And but yeah, no, I've had mostly good experiences now so far, and like, people that are actually like really helpful with recommending places and that. So I'm kind of hoping now to do a lot more traveling over the next few months and stuff, and hopefully get back into it. But yeah, I'm gonna attach on some videos after this, and yeah, I kind of hope you enjoy them. And yeah, if you have any questions or whatever, you can just ask me. Yeah, thank you for listening. No, I was really nervous, so I'm really sorry if I babbled on there a bit, because this is my first time doing one of them video things, and I was really nervous. So yeah, I'm really sorry there. And I haven't noticed. Yeah, see, I haven't noticed how much I say until I started doing these videos. But thanks anyway for listening. And yeah, if you can follow me on Instagram or whatever, you hopefully see more places, and hopefully it can take the stress out of traveling, because traveling is absolutely brilliant. Like, and you'd really enjoy it. Like, you know, if it isn't so stressful. So yeah, um, thank you. Bye. So this is just kind of an example of one of my posts on Instagram. This one is of the Titanic exhibition in Cove, County Cork. That's just a picture of the outside sign that I put on same wheelchair entrance. This is a picture of me in the exhibition on one of the lowered screens, just to show like it is possible for wheelchair users to use them. This picture is the lifts going in and out of the exhibition. The exhibition online said that there was a lift going into it, but it didn't kind of explain the lift. So I always find it handier to take pictures of the lifts and stuff, just so if you see my review and then you go, you kind of know what you're expecting getting there. I always find it easier, like personally me, to know what's ahead of me when I go to a place. It just makes me feel more comfortable going there and stuff. So my sister took these pictures down below. I'm actually getting onto the ramp up there above with one of the staff members. But yeah, my sister normally takes these pictures for me, so I do the stuff, get onto the stuff, just to show that like a wheelchair user can do it by themselves and stuff. I just find it easier. Like I'm quite a visual person, so I'd like to see the stuff, if you get what I mean. Yeah, that's me getting onto the lift up above. Yeah, that's me actually on the lift after it's been lowered, and you can see the gate open and a very slight ramp coming out of it. This is the ramp leaving and entering the exhibition. Yeah, and that's me on the ramp. I just find it easier when you see like, because you can see the kind of like steepness of the ramp if you see my wheelchair on the ramp, if you get me. So that's just a slight example of some of the pictures that I post on Instagram, just to review the places. I feel like it kind of helps people when they see another wheelchair user in the pictures doing the exhibitions, rather than just the pictures of the exhibitions themselves. So yeah, that's one of my posts up. This was another activity we got up to over the summer. It was a bit different for us, but it was the Shed Distillery in Drumshambo, County Leitrim. It's a tour of a gin making factory. I think that's what you'd call it. But we wouldn't normally ever do anything like that, but we actually really did enjoy it. So accessibility point. There's 2 disabled spots outside the door, and there's a slight ramp going in, very slight, like you wouldn't even notice it. Well, I didn't find it hard to push on or anything going in. The whole door is accessible, like going in the door was simple, all flat level the whole way through. Now I couldn't take pictures on the door, so the only picture I got inside was just the shelves of the vodka and gin. I just thought it looked kind of cool. But the whole tour is accessible, but we weren't allowed to take pictures in it. But you'd fly around through it, like not a bother. Like I didn't need assistance through any of it. And there's toilets at the end. The toilets were surprisingly good. Like there was a red cord, now it was tied up, but other than that, like it was a good toilet. Like it's not pictured, but the mirror was lowered. It was spacious to turn around in that. Like I actually did think it was a good toilet. Overall, the tour was 100% accessible. Like, and we actually did have a good day. You get shots of gin and that to try afterwards and that, and like it was interesting just to find out about the gin and stuff. So yeah, this is another activity we really enjoyed. So these next few pictures were taken in Bundoran in County Donegal, down by the beach. There was disabled parking there, but I didn't get pictures, and level access then onto the pavements. Bundoran was actually really good. This was the inside in the theme park, the Ferris wheel. It was wheelchair accessible, which I was so shocked by. I don't know if you can see, yeah, where the arrow is there is a slight gap getting onto it, but other than that, you just need assistance. You'd need assistance getting onto it, like you wouldn't feel safe doing it by yourself. But other than that, it was perfect. That's me sitting on it. Like that's my first time on a Ferris wheel since being in a wheelchair. I was amazed I had it, to be honest. here's one or two of the views off the Ferris wheel. I just thought the Ferris wheel was so good because like a wheelchair user could get onto it. I just don't think you see them in many places. I definitely wasn't expecting to find one in Bundoran. But yeah, Bundoran, the whole beachfront itself was accessible. It was actually really good. It was easy to push around and stuff. There was one or two parts coming back up to the car that were slightly steep in that, but yeah, I found it actually really good to push around. This was the playground right before the car park, and there was a wheelchair accessible roundabout. They were just things I spotted there, just being there that day, like we'd only just stopped in. But yeah, I thought it was very good now for accessibility Bundoran, so. So last but not least, this was one of my favourite activities we done all summer. It was down in Kinsale Harbour and it was the wheelie boat. This picture I'm using actually isn't my picture because I didn't manage to get pictures on the day, but it was speedboating around Kinsale Harbour. Basically to get onto the boat you wheel down a ramp and then onto the ramp that's at the front of that picture. I don't know, can you see it properly? But yeah, wheel onto the ramp. The staff are really, really helpful. They were really good, like it wasn't hard to get onto at all. The boat holds up to 6 wheelchair users, so like that's quite good. But this video then is just a little video I got off the harbour and a slight little bit of the inside because I actually didn't get many pictures on the day. Honestly, it was just so much fun. We didn't even think of getting them, but these are just one or two that we had. But the staff like helped me drive the boat and everything at the end. And that picture there of me, the last one, is I could see perfectly over like the railings. I just didn't even feel like, I was in a wheelchair nearly because the boat was so accessible. It was really good. Yeah, I'm gonna finish off this little review with just a little video of me there just driving the boat. Yeah, he let me drive the boat. I thought it was unbelievable. It was so much fun. Yeah, I never ever thought I'd be driving a boat in a wheelchair, but it was a really good activity and I'd actually really highly recommend anyone to go doing it. But yeah, that was it. I booked mine through the Kinsale Outdoor Centre and yeah, it was good. So definitely check that one out if you're looking for stuff to do. Okay, so this is my last review, definitely not least, but it's the Lochrie Access for All boat in Ballylee, County Roscommon. So this picture was taken before we got onto the boat. It's quite accessible around the area before you get onto the boat. There's the benches there, like you can see, where wheelchair users can pull in beside them. There's disabled toilets, there's disabled parking. Now, I'm fully sure that your man said that they're putting in more disabled parking because there is actually only one space at the minute. And they're also adding in, I think, changing rooms, but they're building on like something up the top of it anyway. I'm sure it's a changing room, he said. This picture here is me getting assistance onto the boat. There was a ramp down to it, so one of the staff members helped me. The staff are really helpful here, and they're all trained in like dealing with people with disabilities and in wheelchairs and stuff, so they were really, really helpful. As far as I know, this is the first boat of its kind after coming into Ireland, so hopefully onwards and upwards, and there'll be more and more. That's just me on the boat. Yeah, you're secured on safely in that. It's actually a really fun experience. That's just a little video I got of the water and stuff. That's a pamphlet just to show the distance and where it is, like from every county and stuff. This was a really good day out, and like I loved that the boat was made for people with disabilities and in wheelchairs and stuff. There's a more in-depth review on my page, but this is my last review now I'm after doing, so if you'd like to go over to my page and just check it out, and there's more reviews and all them places that I done there, there's more in-depth reviews, and there's other places as well there that I didn't include in this. But yeah, thanks for taking your time to listen to all my spiel today. Thank you.